It is an ugly print result, yet beautiful at the same time. Hello everyone, back with me again, Dennys Wang, and here are all the test print on Sonic Mighty 8K, and I will compare it to Sonic Mini 8K prints. But before that, kindly subscribe to my channel and like this video. And if you want to support my channel directly, you could check my Patreon link in video description. Now let's get right into it. This is the print settings that I use. And as usual, the first test is the stability torture test. This is the Y and this is facing X-axis. And for the result on stability torture test, I have no word to describe it. You guys could see the result. Okay, I cannot say anything, and it just looks perfect. Super awesome. And here are some print angles to check for any artifact lines. At the top without antialiasing, and the bottom here with antialiasing, image blur 2. I could barely see any artifact lines at antialiasing off, and very smooth on antialiasing, image blur 2. Now this is at a higher angle. I did a very bad job cleaning this piece here, but I do not see any artifact lines on both antialiasing off and image blur 2. And this is at the highest angle. I could start seeing artifact lines is showing up here on print without antialiasing, and no artifact lines here on print with antialiasing, image blur 2. Sonic Mighty 8K is at 28 micron on the XY resolution, and Mini 8K is at 22 micron for the XY resolution. So it seems to me that 3D printer under 3 micron XY resolution, you can safely print at almost every angle without worrying for any artifact lines showing up. For the antialiasing test, I will be test both on Chitubox here and on Lychee. First, let's look at the antialiasing off. First up here is antialiasing off. You could clearly see the voxel. And this is Chitubox antialiasing 2. You could still see some trace of voxels. This is antialiasing 4 on Chitubox. Still some trace of voxel, and this is antialiasing 8 on Chitubox. The same result with previous, some trace of voxel. And this is with antialiasing 2, image blur 2, the smoothest result so far. And this is antialiasing 2, image blur 4. Very smooth result. And these are all the antialiasing settings on Lychee. No matter what settings that I use, either the blur or stroke blur and etc., the result all pretty much the same. Let me pick up a couple to show you the close-up. One thing for sure, the voxel is not very visible, but I could still see faint traces of the voxel. No matter what the settings that I've used. See the trace of the voxels. Also the same, some traces of the faint voxel lines. All settings pretty much the same result. And this is the last thing that I will show from Lychee antialiasing test. Still showing faint trace of the voxel. It cannot go very smooth like this on Chitubox, image blur 2. See the difference? Now let's take a look at Sergeant Silus. The most important, the shield. On the left, anti-aliasing off. On the right, anti-aliasing image blur 2. And this is mighty 8K on the left compared to mini 8K on the right, both without anti-aliasing. You could still see a lot of voxels around here, but on mini 8K, there are barely no voxel error at all. And the scratch details on the helmet, both are pretty much the same details. Overall, the only things that I could tell is Mini 8K print has less voxel around this area of the shield. And Sergeant Silus on the left Mighty 8K, on the right Mini 8K, both print with anti-aliasing image blur 2. The result is the result is the same. I cannot really tell the difference, except for this error on the bubbles. Yeah, I have bubble on top of the Mini 8K print, but this is not caused by the printer or the resolution. For the helmet scratch, yep. Yeah, pretty much the same on both. Now look at this Batman Pattinson head sculpt. The voxel here, the edge of the voxel is way more pronounced compared to the one printed with Mini 8K. This is the other difference that I could tell aside from Sergeant Silus. And other than that, all the details or the quality print, without the help of micro lens, I cannot tell the difference at all. And this is the last difference that I could find on all my test print, this embossed letter here. And then the extrude, both print on Mighty 8K, on the left anti-aliasing off, on the right anti-aliasing image blur 2. The details and the depth of these embossed letters, somehow they are way more compared to the one anti-aliasing off. And the letters, the extrude letters, this one seems much thicker compared to with anti-aliasing image blur 2. And this is weird because, maybe the blur edge of the anti-aliasing somehow makes the details of the letter seems thinner compared to this extrude. I'm not sure, but this is the result. And this is the previous print anti-aliasing image blur 2 on Mighty 8K. Compare it to print with anti-aliasing image blur 2 on Mini 8K. I'm sure you guys could already tell the difference. This is 28 micron and this is 22 micron. The letter, the extrude one, see, this seems much thicker and this is more thin. The depth of the emboss is not as deep as in Mighty 8K. So this is so mixed up, and this should be the result on Mighty 8K 28 micron, and this should be Mini 8K 22 micron, but it's the other way around. Somehow the details here is way more better compared to Mini 8K on 22 micron. Okay, I'm having a headache now. I guess I have to stop for a moment. So those are all the print difference that I could find in Mighty 8K and Mini 8K comparison. I guess no point for me in continuing showing you guys the print comparison, because you'll just keep hearing me saying the details are equal, the details are pretty much the same. And even on Mighty 8K, the print with anti-aliasing and without anti-aliasing, the most difference you could find sorry, I mean that I could find is only with the Sergeant Silus print where the shield is a flat curved surface, so it's showing voxel. And with Antialiasing, there is no voxel. And if you print object with a very high texture like this, or like this Air Jordan with the leather details, even Antialiasing and image blur doesn't show any difference at all. So, because I have printed a lot of models, I will still show you guys the details, but I will let music in the background, so I won't be saying anything. And after that, we will move on to the next test print. Now for the Wiremesh model at zero point 0.1, in my opinion, this is the best print result so far. This is from the combination of the gray 8K and also the 28 micron, because when I print this on mini 8K, the result is not as good as this, but on mini 8K review, I am using only the gray 4K resin. It looks like I have to reprint this Wiremesh again with mini 8K. I will maybe post the print result in my social media. There is a viewer that wants to know what is the thickest layer Mighty 8K could print, and this is at 0.1 millimeters, this is at 0.2 and 0.3, all without antialiasing. I think Mighty 8K could still print more than 0.3 millimeters, but at 0.3 the exposure is quite high, so with this print result, I don't see any point you are using resin printer to print more than 0.1 millimeters. This is at 0.1 millimeters. The details is not bad. You could still see the skin pores, but you could also start to see the layer lines. Now this is at 0.2 millimeters. The print quality is almost the same as when I print with my FDM at 0.1 millimeters, and this is what it looks like on FDM, almost what it looks like. And this is at 0.3. We are losing all kinds of details, but somehow this give me a weird optical illusion. It is an ugly print result, yet beautiful at the same time. Oh my god, I have a headache just looking at the print. And the interesting things is, this is for the 0.2 millimeter support, and this is for the 0.3. It became so, how should I say, brittle. The layer can be easily separate. Sorry. This might work for some experiment, I guess. At least I learned a new thing from printing. See? It breaks very clean. Maybe this could be something interesting. And this is at 0.3. The same. The layer are easy to separate. Next up, does Mighty 8K has compression issue? This is leveling with one paper. This is two papers, and this is with three papers, or I raise the Z offset like 0.2 millimeters. And what is interesting about this compression issue, when I help several other users troubleshooting their printer, some are using Alago printer, some are using NA-cubic printer, and they are showing the same result when I told them to print this exposure tester. Yes, it is coming out too short. So I have a talk with another user where he replaced the entire casing of his Sonic Mini 8K to Phrozen shuffle, if I'm not mistaken. And then he removed the damper, and he said he no longer has compression issue. So it seems that the root of this compression cause is from the damper. So you need damper to reduce wobble and noise, but at the same time it could cause compression. Maybe not compression, maybe more like a flex from the damper during this bottom area where the suction is the highest. And because the damper flex, the stepper motor is not raising high enough. So the result is your print coming out too short. And this is still my theory that the cause is the damper. I guess I will do another test on my Mini 8K and I will remove the damper and we shall see the result. Now for the scale dimension, this is the x-axis first, 20.08, very good. And this is the y-axis, 20.07. The result for the scale dimension is very good. So those are all my test print on Sonic Mighty 8K. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section. And if you're interested with the model that I use for test print, I will put the link to download the models in video description. Some are paid models, some are free. And for this head sculpt, sorry, it is not available. It belongs to my friend. And for this Mirror Tier and Sergeant Silus from DM Stash, I have a discount code. You could buy all the model from DM Stash using my discount code in video description. And now I would like to address the elephant syndrome. People keep asking me, should they get Elegoo Saturn 2 8K or Phrozen Sonic Mighty 8K? Unfortunately, I am unable to purchase Elegoo Saturn 2 8K because since the age of Elegoo March 3, every time I email Elegoo, the reply is the same. They cannot ship to my country because they don't have official reseller yet in my country. So sorry guys, I cannot do print comparison. But talk about 8K screen. Mighty 8K with 28 micron, Mini 8K with 22 micron. The build size is quite different from both printer. But even with the help of macro lens, I am having a hard time to find the difference on print details and quality for Mighty versus Mini 8K. So my best guess is the same with Elegoo Saturn 2 8K versus Mighty 8K. It seems that both printer with almost similar build size, I think the print details and quality will be pretty much the same or not noticeable at all. And the most important difference, I guess, is maybe from the price. Elegoo is definitely cheaper. Sony Mighty 8K is more expensive, but it comes with more fancy feature like the built-in camera and a more advanced user interface touchscreen. You guys could watch my previous video for more info. So if you ask me, if I'm tight on budget, I guess I will go for Elegoo Saturn 2 8K. And if I'm not tight on budget, I will go for the Mighty 8K with more additional feature from Mighty 8K. Next is, people also ask me, should they get Mini 8K or Mighty 8K? Now, one thing that to consider is your space. That is Mini 4K, Mighty 4K, and Mini 8K. Mini 8K is already as big as Mighty 4K. And Mighty 8K, check out the comparison to Mega 8K. So it is quite big. If you want to choose Mighty 8K, make sure you have enough space. And the size of the table is about 120 centimeters times 45 centimeters. So if you cannot choose, should you get Mighty 8K or Mini 8K, you have to consider, do you have the space or not? I guess that is all I could say about the elephants in the rooms. See you guys in the next video. Ciao! Thank you, Leo Chung, Xian Gilmore, and Mick for becoming my patron.